I mean, you could come up with a master plan for black people to get from under this system, and man, you probably won't get 3% of black people to support it. I'ma say it again. You could come up with a master plan to get black people from under the thumb of these devils, and you probably couldn't get 3% of black people to support it. And I'm being generous with 3%. To be honest, you probably couldn't get 1% of black people to support it. Because everybody's going to have one excuse or justification or reason after another to not support it. And as you conquer those excuses, as you combat them, it eventually just get down to they just don't want to mess with you, or they don't want to go against that system. How do I know? Because I actually witnessed that too. I actually experienced that also. I know what it's like for black people to not want to work with you just because you're sincerely trying to help black people. Everything I'm about to say, you already know it to be true. You are a slave. You are a slave to money, to social economics, to status, to politics, to ideology. You have sold your soul to have a place in a world order that you should naturally oppose. You know, I want to say something regarding the video I did about Kendrick Lamar's diss song, Not Like Us. You know, I find it funny that these dudes sit on YouTube and social media every day, 7 days a week, liking videos, subscribing to channels, sharing videos that highlight the dysfunctions of black people. We seem to relish in it. We seem to love it. We seem not to be able to get enough of that kind of content. We sit around and talk about how Pookie and Ray Ray is the problem, how Shaniqua and Shanae is the problem. You know, we sit there and talk about black women are the reason for this. You know, how they broke down the family structure, how they broke down a nuclear family and all this stuff. Then we turn around talking about black men, how they have abandoned the roles of manhood. They no longer fathers. They hit it and quit it and leave women single with children and all this stuff. We got all these narratives. We talk about the crime, the illiteracy rates, recidivism rates. You know, we talk about all of this stuff day in, day out, 24/7, and we seem to love it. We seem like we just can't get enough of that kind of content. Now, in that video I did with Kendrick Lamar talking about They Not Like Us, I led in with the elder sister, Shahrazad Ali, saying how we don't set our own agendas. Now, this is something I've been saying for years.
I think it came to a head about there being an issue between us in the 60s when the white woman came up with the women's liberation movement. And unfortunately, as black men and black women in this country, even our children, whatever white people problems are, we try to do our own version of that problem. We don't set our own agenda as a rule. We follow behind them.
She's saying that we don't set our own agendas, and as a rule, we look at the problems and the issues and everything that white folks have, and we recreate our own versions of it. Well, it's not just the problems and the issues that we recreate everything from white society. And because white society at its base is racist, it causes us to have an internal and constant clash with our brothers and sisters and within ourselves. Now, I'm saying all this to say this here. I find it odd that we can subscribe to any channel that dumps endless dirt on black people, black Americans, by highlighting our dysfunctions constantly, by talking about our dysfunctions constantly, by talking about either black women's dysfunctions or black men's dysfunctions. We can't get enough of that. But the second I put it in context and showed that our dysfunction has a direct relationship to our dealings with white society, now it becomes a problem. One dude left a comment saying he's never heard the culture being blamed on whitey before. What culture? That's the thing, what culture? This trash that you see that y'all call culture right now is a direct result of whitey. Y'all, okay, here's a prime example. Y'all say that feminism, that black women's participation in feminism broke down our family structure, which is a fact. It's a fact, right? We don't get married at the same rate. We don't have the same amount of people, black people married, you know what I'm saying, like we did prior to the 1960s and stuff like that, right? All of this is true. But who started feminism? That wasn't black women that started feminism. That's a white woman's ideology, right? Okay, turn around and the black men, right? All of the black men throughout the 70s and 80s, right? When the black women were first starting to come up with these excuses as to why they can't find a black man. None of them was educated enough. None of them had good enough jobs, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't equal to the black woman as far as social economics is concerned, you know? Remember, all of these talking points, and it was a segment of black men that were also pursuing social economics, also pursuing college and degrees and all this kind of stuff. They all agreed with the black women. Remember that. But where does the ideology of the worship of social economics come from? It don't come from black people. That's part of class warfare. Where does classism come from? It comes from white folks. It didn't come from black people. White Europeans have been under class system, the 3-tier system. Look it up. The nobles, what you had, the royals, you had the clergy, the nobles, and you had the peasants. I mean, look it up. They've been under class systems for hundreds and hundreds of years. This is their doings. It came from old Europe with them, traveled over the ocean with them. This is not our ideology. So the class warfare that we see in blacks with the boulets and the blacks that chase social economics, that get college degrees while they think they're better than the blacks that don't have college degrees. This form of class warfare come from white folks. And all of these things have broken down our bond. You know, the more we divide and separate ourselves, the worse off we are, because unfortunately for us, our survival depends on our unity. You know what I'm saying? And that's a thing that a lot of blacks don't care about. We seem to be okay with highlighting and relishing in the dysfunctions of black people until somebody like me come and say, hey, this is all due to our relationship to these people. Now it becomes a problem. You don't want this to be put in the scope of our selling out to them people. Y'all don't want this put in the scope of our desire to assimilate in white society, our desire to ingratiate ourselves to white people. You don't want it put in that scope. You want to just blame black people for what they're doing. You want to just blame Pookie. You want to just blame black women. You want to just blame black men. You want to blame Obama. The man been out of office 80 years and y'all still blaming him for stuff. Because this is all just self-hatred at its core. That's all it is. And y'all don't like what I did in that video and that community post that accompanied that video, is because I brought it back to us. See, I'm not gonna let y'all say they not like us, because y'all don't have a comparison. As I said in the first video, I remember when we had a black community. I remember when everything white society did was a joke to us, where we wanted no parts of it. We laughed at them. I remember this. This is first-hand memory I'm talking about. I'm not talking about something that people told to me. I'm telling you what I experienced, what I lived. When I lived a time when they were a joke to us, but we wanted to have nothing to do with them or anything they did or any belief they had. This is what I remember. And back then you could say they not like us, because there were things that we just didn't do. This is why initially, and even still now, serial killers, if you hear about a serial killing environment, the FBI is going to assume it's a white male. There's a reason for that. Because this is something they did. And it's something that we didn't do. If they have, this is why Back in the days, if they had a child that was abducted, they assumed it was a white person because this is not something we did. There were a lot of things where they were not like us that we participate in today. Because the more we got tied to these people, the more we changed, the more we deteriorated morally, the more we deteriorated, you know what I'm saying, spiritually. And y'all don't like people pointing that out. But I can get on here and bash rappers. I can get on here and bash black women or bash black men or bash the black community. I can make a video talking about how we tired of black women twerking and, you know, make it seem like that's so offensive to the rest of us. You know what I'm saying? Y'all are like that. That the algorithm will push that. All of y'all will start subscribing to the channel because this is just self-hatred. I'm not letting y'all hide that self-hatred, man. I'm not letting y'all hide it. I'm going to be putting your self-hatred out front. I'm going to be exposing it. I'm going to be highlighting it. I'm going to be showing you and everybody else that's interested just how much we don't like ourselves, how we hide self-hatred behind pro-blackness, because we don't do anything that's positive for ourselves. We don't care about doing anything that's positive for ourselves. I mean, you could come up with a master plan for black people to get from under this system, and man, you probably won't get 3% of black people to support it. I'm gonna say it again. You could come up with a master plan to get black people from under the thumb of these devils, and you probably couldn't get 3% of black people to support it. And I'm being generous with 3%. To be honest, you probably couldn't get 1% of black people to support it. Because everybody's gonna have one excuse or justification or reason after another to not support it. And as you conquer those excuses, as you combat them, it eventually just get down to they just don't want to mess with you or they don't want to go against that system. How do I know? Because I actually witnessed that too. I actually experienced that also. I know what it's like for black people to not want to work with you just because you're sincerely trying to help black people. And I'm not, I mean, look, I've seen it. I've experienced it. So I'm going to be exposing y'all, man. I'm not going to let y'all get away with that. This is all self-hatred, you know what I'm saying? Kendrick Lamar, they not like us, and all the celebrations about this song, he's trying to make a statement because y'all see him as some kind of black champion, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, in reality, Kendrick Lamar is not even deep, bruh. He hasn't done nothing like Tupac's Soldier Story before Tupac went crazy with them gangs and all that stuff in the West Coast. Y'all need to go his Soldier Story. Most of y'all don't even have an idea what Tupac is talking about in Soldier Story. All I wanted to be a soldier, a soldier. Go pull that song up, listen to it. And leave in the comment section if you know who Tupac talking about, because that story is based on the real lives of some people. Yeah. And the first time I heard it, I knew exactly who he was talking about because I know about us. 99.99% of y'all can listen to that song right now and you will not have an idea who Tupac made that song based on, who inspired that song. You won't have an idea because you don't know nothing about your own struggles that you claim to be so pro, you know what I'm saying, so much behind. You don't know anything about this stuff. Y'all know nothing of it because y'all ain't cut from that kind of cloth. Y'all not really about no revolution. Y'all about assimilation. And assimilation is a direct result of self-hatred. That's what it is. Because there is no reason no sane black person would want to kiss the butts of these devils. There is no reason for any sane black person to want to ingratiate himself to people that's never going to like him, that's never going to accept him. It is crazy. Where's your self-respect? Where's your self-love? Where's your dignity? See, if you men listen to me, everything falls in line, including your dealings with women. Because it's all the same. It all starts from here. How you view yourself, how you deal with yourself, how you love and respect yourself. It all starts from here. Because when you love yourself, you're not gonna let nobody abuse you, bro. When you love yourself, that's man, woman, you're not gonna let them abuse you. When you love yourself, you're not gonna kiss the asses of people that can't stand you. You're not gonna do it. That's man, woman, it don't matter. Black, woman, white, it don't matter. When you love yourself, you're gonna move throughout this world differently. So all of this stuff I see, when I look at it, my mind processes it differently because I understand I am looking at the results of self-hatred. Y'all can keep getting mad all y'all want. I ain't gonna stop saying it. I ain't gonna stop saying it. So, do you. Leave a comment. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Y'all better support this, bro. Because there is nothing else. Everything else has failed you. Nothing has made your life better. Nothing has been successful for you. I am here. Like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Till next time, I'm out of here. I'm Brother Kush, aka the Blackout Salon.